Welcome to the Power in Motion podcast, the show for women who want to develop a kinder relationship with their body so you can feel healthy, happy, and confident without restricting food, doing torturous exercise, or constantly worrying about the number on the scale. I'm your host, Kim Hagel, size-inclusive fitness specialist and certified non-diet health and life coach specializing in body image. This podcast is here to provide weight-neutral, health at every size aligned information and coaching on sustainable habits and mindset shifts so you can feel your very best in the body you have right now. Let's lace up our runners and go for a walk while we chat. Well, hey there. Welcome back to the Joyful Movement Show. This is episode 92, and today we're talking all about the core because sure, we all know that it's really important to have a strong core, but a lot of people aren't clear on what that exactly means or how to go about building that strength. And quite honestly, I see a lot of people wasting their time doing crunches and sit-ups that really don't help. None of us have time to waste, and I don't know about you, but when I do movement, I want good bang for my buck. I want to know that what I'm doing is really benefiting me. I don't just want to go through the motions. So in this episode, I'm going to teach you what your core is, how to find and engage the muscles of the core, and how to train core strength simply without any equipment or sit-ups in just minutes a day. Lots of practical, tangible tips for you today that you can get started with right away to really move the needle on your core strength. So let's get started. The reason I thought it was important to share this episode with you is because I recently had a client. Actually, if you're a regular listener, she was on the show a few weeks back. And when we started working together, she told me how in fitness classes, the instructors would always say, engage your core. And she confessed to me at our initial meeting that she had no idea what that meant, never mind how to do it. So, learning how to engage and strengthen her core was her main goal. And she was pretty embarrassed about having to ask about that, about something that seemed to her so basic. But what I said to her is there's no need to feel embarrassed. It's a fair question. And I actually really admired her for bringing that forward because I know she's not the only one. Maybe you felt that way yourself. Or maybe you think you're building core strength by doing planks or crunches, but you're not sure you're doing it right, or you've still got back pain. Either way, there's no need to feel embarrassed by the lack of knowledge. I mean, if you've never been taught what all the core muscles are, where they are, how to engage them, I mean, that's my job. I'm the personal trainer. If that's not part of your education and your job, it makes sense that you wouldn't know how to do that. So there's nothing to be embarrassed about. In my practice with personal training clients, one of the first things that I do is I teach them this stuff. I teach them where their core is, all the different muscles that make it up, and how to engage them because almost nobody knows how to do it. But not to worry, because on this episode, I'm going to teach you exactly that. Because it's true, it's important to have a strong core. Your core is the foundation for all good movement. Everything we do starts there, whether you're picking up your kids or playing sports, vacuuming, or even sitting in your chair. All motion originates from our center, and having a strong core helps you feel more stable and balanced. It improves your posture, helps reduce pain in the back, hips, neck, and knees, and just makes you feel stronger overall. So it is important, but you got to know what you're doing to get that bang for your buck. So let's get started what I'm going to call this mini core masterclass. So what is the core? Well, it's not just your six pack. I think that's a very common misunderstanding is that our core is our abs. And the way that we get a strong core is by getting a six pack. Your six pack refers to the outer muscles of your abdomen called the rectus abdominis. But having a six pack doesn't mean that you have a strong core. The rectus abdominis is part of your core, but it's not your whole core. Its main function is to help you sit up. But there are actually other muscles in your abdomen, and the main one is your transverse abdominis muscle, otherwise known as the corset muscle. It's a deeper muscle that's responsible for supporting your spine and pelvis. It helps you stand up straight and have good balance and stability, and it's where all the movement of our extremities originates. So everything moves better if you have a strong TVA. When instructors tell you to engage your core, this is the muscle they're talking about. And I'm going to teach you how to do that, how to engage the TVA in just a minute. But even that is not your whole core. There's still other muscles of the abdomen that are part of your core, specifically the obliques, which are in your sides and help you turn and twist. And even beyond that, your core is more than just your abs. It's actually everything from your shoulders down to your hips, your whole torso. All of the deep muscles that support the spine and contribute to your alignment, stability, balance, and posture. So we have the muscles of the shoulders and upper back, which, when strengthened, help you have good posture and counteract the effects of desk sitting. We've got the muscles of your lower back, which help to keep you tall and upright and provide stability. They support your spine. And when they are strong, they help to reduce low back pain that often accompanies sitting. We've got the muscles in your hips or your gluteal group. And I'm not just talking about the gluteus maximus, which is the outer muscle of the hips, which is the one that we target when we squat and lunge, but rather the deeper glute muscles, the glute medius, the glute minimus. And those are what are responsible for good alignment of our hips and our lower body. So when those deeper gluteal muscles are strong, we walk better and we tend to have less knee pain because there's less torque on the knee joints. Our knees stay in good alignment rather than bowing in or turning outward, and therefore they're going to hurt a lot less. Now, I know that might sound like a lot, but trust me, it really doesn't have to be complicated. It's not important for you to know all the muscle names and what they do. It's just important for you to know that your core is a whole lot more than your six pack, and that you want to focus your attention not on getting a six pack, but on strengthening the deeper abdominal muscles as well as the back, shoulders, and hips. Why? Well, like I said, everything starts in the core. Think of your core like the central link in a chain connecting your upper and lower body. No matter what motion you're doing or where it starts, it all ripples upward and downward to adjoining links of this chain that starts in your core. So weak core muscles can impair how well your arms and legs function. And it also zaps power from the movements that you make. A strong core underpins everything that you do. From simple everyday activities like bending down to put your shoes on or picking up a package off the floor, turning to look behind you, even just sitting in your chair or standing still, or activities of daily living like bathing, dressing, these all call on your core. The tasks that we do at work also start in our core. Jobs that involve lifting or twisting and standing, they all rely on your core muscles. Desk sitting relies on your core muscles. Talking on the phone, typing on your computer, all of those repetitive tasks without a strong core can make your back and shoulders and neck really stiff and sore, but can also be mitigated and improved by strengthening your core muscles and improving your posture. Speaking of low back pain, if you've ever suffered from low back pain, you know how debilitating and excruciating it can be. But focusing on exercises that strengthen the muscles of the back can really help to mitigate that pain. If you play sports, golfing, tennis, or other racket sports, biking, running, swimming, baseball, volleyball, kayaking, rowing, all the other athletic activities, they're all powered by having a strong core. And having that strong core will greatly improve your power, efficiency, speed, and will greatly reduce your risk of injury. Even housework, gardening, and fixing up around the house, all those activities that involve motions like bending, twisting, lifting, carrying, reaching overhead, things such as vacuuming, mopping, and dusting even, they're all activities that spring from or pass through our core. And you know what? Let's face it, we're all getting older and none of us want to fall. It certainly hurts a lot more than it did when we were kids. And a strong core is key to help stabilize your body and improve your balance. So, no matter who you are or what you do, I think you can see that core strength is important. I'd even go so far as to say if you only have time or energy to focus on one component of fitness, this is where I would spend my time. If you only have 10 minutes to work out, I would spend it doing core training. It's simple, it requires no equipment, you don't have to change clothes, you won't even break a sweat, but it will pay you back in dividends. So before I teach you how to train your core, the first step is to know how to engage your core. And what we mean by that is to activate that transverse abdominis muscle. Because you can do crunches all day long, but if you are not engaging your TVA, the crunches are doing nothing for you. And you can hold a plank for 5 minutes, but if you're not activating the TVA while you're holding that plank, it's a waste of your time. So let's talk about how to find and engage your TVA. If you're able to get down on the floor and practice this with me, I'll guide you through that. But if you can't get down right now, that's okay. If you're driving, just listen. You can come back and do this later. So if you're able to get down on the floor, I want you to lay on your back with your feet flat on the floor, so your knees will be bent. And place your hands, the heels of your hands, on your hip bones. You should feel bony prominences on either side of your abdomen. Place the heels of your hands there. And then point your thumbs toward each other and point your index fingers toward your pubic bone. So what you're essentially making is a triangle with your thumbs and index fingers. Your thumbs and fingers don't have to touch, but you've got a triangular shape on the top of your lower abdomen. And I want you to think that inside that triangle, you are holding a hot bowl of soup. You don't want the soup to spill on you because it's hot. So think about tipping your pelvis forward and back until that triangle that you've made with your thumbs and fingers is flat, parallel to the floor. And when you have that, you should notice a little bit of space behind your low back. You can take your hands and put them under your low back, and you should feel that even if your back is touching the floor, there's a natural curve in your spine of your low back. So that's the position I want you to hold while we work through a little breathing exercise here to help you find your TVA. So keep your hands there over your pelvis. And I want you to take a nice deep breath in to prepare. So just take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, I want you to think about taking your navel and drawing it inwards towards your spine and then upwards towards your rib cage. So it's like you're making a letter J with your navel, and you can take a breath whenever you need to. You can try that again. So you take the inhale to get ready, do nothing with the inhale, and then exhale, draw the navel in towards the spine, then up towards your rib cage. You'll feel a little bit of engagement in the pelvic floor as well, but don't think about doing a tight Kegel. That's not the point here. You'll just feel a little bit of activation in the pelvic floor. Keep practicing that as I continue talking. So inhale, relax. Exhale, make that letter J with your navel, pull it in towards the spine, up towards your rib cage. And what you should notice as you practice that is that triangle that you're making with your fingers should be getting smaller on the exhales. You should feel your thumbs and fingers getting closer together as you exhale, like your hip bones are traveling closer to one another. And then as you inhale and relax, your hands go back to their starting position. Do not worry if you don't get this right away. Just keep trying. Our muscles sometimes need a little bit of practice to wake up. If you've never done this exercise or you haven't done it recently, It takes some time to build the mind muscle connection. So just keep practicing it. Just thinking about doing this helps to build that mind muscle connection, and eventually it'll kick in. So practice it a few times a day until you get it. And once you do get it, then you can try doing a few repetitions in a row. So it would look like inhale, relax, exhale, engage. And maybe do 3 to start. When that becomes easy, do 5, then 10, just build up as you get stronger. And then you can try it in other positions. You can try it sitting. I like to do it when I'm driving. If I'm at a stoplight, I'll do a few TVA activations. Or you can do it in a standing position. So maybe when you're cooking supper and stirring a pot, you can practice some TVA activations. Work it into your day. Maybe while you're brushing your teeth, tack it on to a habit that's already established. And then you'll be surprised how very quickly you start to build that strength, how it becomes easy quickly. So once that is the case, then I want you to try holding it for a little longer. See if you can keep the TVA engaged while you take your next breath in. So instead of releasing the contraction on your inhale, try and keep that activation while you breathe. And once you have that, maybe try and keep it for 2 breaths or 5. Build up as you go. It's that engagement that you want to bring to all of your core exercises. That TVA activation is the foundation for all other core exercises. And really, we should have that foundational strength before we add movement to our core training. In other words, doing crunches or planks, if you're unable to hold your TVA active, is really, 1, ineffective, and 2, could be risky. If you do crunches, do them while activating the TVA, and they're going to be so much more effective. Same for planks. If you've practiced planks, only hold your plank as long as you can keep the TVA activated. And if you find that now that you know how to activate the TVA, if you find that your planks are a whole lot harder and you can't hold them as long, that's quite all right. Maybe take your plank down a notch, maybe take it to your knees and build strength there. This TVA engagement exercise is literally the most important part. And I'm not kidding. If you practice just that, just the engagement several times a day as you go about your life, it will make a huge difference in your overall core strength. Like, huge. This is a really great example of how simple, gentle movement is enough. It does count. This activation alone will benefit you more than 100 crunches. So if you only do one thing, make it this. And then if you have time or desire for more, you can round out your core training by adding in just a few other movements that target the rest of the core, your shoulders, back, and hips. My 4 favorite moves for that are bridges, bird dogs, YTI, which is 3 different shoulder exercises that help the posture, and the plank. And that can be a wall plank or off the countertop or off the knees as you build strength to hold the TVA activation. Now, don't sweat it if you have no idea what I'm talking about with those movements. I've gone ahead and created a video for you where I show you how to do them all with detailed instructions and variations for each one so that you can start wherever you're at and build your strength from there. So the link for that video is in the show notes, or just go and visit my website, radiantvitality.ca. And there's a pop-up there as soon as you get on the website where you can opt in for that video and get started right away building a stronger core. And I also want to let you know that core training is the focus inside the What Moves Me membership for November. As a group, we'll be intentionally working to improve the strength of our back, hips, and abdominals by doing a little bit of movement every day. I'm talking 5 minutes. And then twice a week, I'll be leading live 30-minute movement classes over Zoom where we'll challenge our core a little more. So if you know that you need to improve the strength of your core and you want to get the most bang for your buck with your training time, and be sure that you're doing the most effective movements and doing them correctly so you get the most benefit, then come and join us. We would love to have you. Okay, so I hope that you found this episode helpful, that it provided some practical tips for you to get started building core strength. Remember to go and grab that video for detailed instructions for those 4 key movements. I will see you back here next week for more Fitspo-free motivation. In the meantime, be well, and here's to your radiant vitality. Thanks for tuning into the Power in Motion podcast today. If you love what you're learning here, then I invite you to take the next step of embodying these concepts into your own life so that you can live your healthiest, happiest life and never again feel held back by your body. Coaching is the fastest, most efficient pathway to taking what you know in your head to actually applying it and seeing results. Whether you're looking to make changes around movement, food, body image, or all 3, I'm here to help you nurture a kind, respectful, and trusting relationship with your body so you can feel your very best. Click the link in the show notes to book a free consultation, and together we'll uncover what's getting in the way of you having the results you want. You'll leave this call knowing exactly what you need to work on, and together we'll explore whether one of my coaching offers is a good fit for you. I can't wait to meet you.